Hey there. So we're ready for week 3. For week 3, we're going to build off what you've already been doing. You've been basically doing 2 days, 1 day of a movement and 1 day of stretching. So we're going to add a 3rd day into your rotation. So the way that's going to look is you're going to have your day 1, which is going to be your movements, and that should feel very familiar. There's going to be some slight changes, nothing extreme. The new day is day 2. That's going to be some isometric holds. We're going to make it real easy for you. Good starting point. We'll get into that more on day 2. Day 3 is going to be your stretching, and that should be very familiar by now. And then we're going to repeat. So then we'll go back up day 4, day 5, day 6. You have 1 more day, so then we'll go back up to the movement. So in week 3, you'll get 3 days of movement, 2 days of isometric, and 2 days of stretching. Let's get started. All right, this is day 1, day 4, and day 7. Let's get to it. So for your first movement, we are going to do belly breathing. We're going to do 30 breaths. Big inhale with the belly, filling the belly up like a balloon. And let it out. I like to sniff in the nose to fill up belly. And then, like an exaggerated sigh to let it out. Go for 30. 1, 2, 10, 20, 30. Next, we're going to do our head rotations. Last week you did these. We're going to bump the reps up this time to 24. So gently lifting. 1, kind of recenter. 2, only in your pain-free range of motion. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If you need to, you can always let your head down, take a break. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Next, you're going to do your seated head nods. Good seated posture. Tucking the chin. 1. Tracking up to the ceiling with your eyes. Reaching your head back for that gravity drop. 2. 3. 4. We're bumping these reps up to 30. Also, if you need to stop and take a break, you can. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. Next, you're going to do your rocking. For the rocking, we're keeping these at the 30. Reach back. 1, 2, 3. Remember looking forward with the head. 4. Only in your pain-free range of motion. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And then lastly, we're going to do your knee taps. And with your knee taps, this time we're going to bump them up to 30 repetitions. So good standing posture, opposite arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So that is day 1, 4, and 7. My challenge for you this week is after you run through that list of movements to pick one on each of these days, one on day 1, one on day 4, and one on day 7, that you can practice again later in the day. Now you can pick the movement that feels the most awkward for you. that might mean that your body needs it the most. Maybe those head rotations or the head nods or the rocking or the marching, something that feels a little awkward to you. Practice that again. That's probably your body's way of saying, I need more of it. Or if you choose, you could pick the one that you enjoy the most. Either way, just find one of those movements and practice it a second time. If you enjoy these videos, this video series, or you know someone that you think might enjoy it, please like, share, comment below. That's what's going to help other people find this video and this video series. See you tomorrow for day 2. Today we're going to go over your intro, your basics, isometrics, which is going to be your day 2 and also day 5. Now, isometric is a great gentle way to start building up some strength. Basically, you're just holding your body in certain positions and just trying to fight gravity a little bit. The first one we're going to do is an elevated high plank. High plank is just like holding the top position of a push-up. We want to try to keep good posture. Your goal for all of your isometrics today is a maximum of 30 seconds. Now, I wouldn't expect you to start at 30 seconds, but that's going to be your goal to work up to. More than likely, it might be 10, it might be 20. Doesn't matter, it's just where you're starting. First one we're going to do is an elevated high plank. Now here we're going to demonstrate it on an ottoman, but you could also do it on a couch, you could do it on a bench, you could do it on a countertop, you could do it off of a wall. The higher you go in elevation, the easier it's going to be. But regardless of what you use, make sure whatever you're putting your hands on, it's stable. If this was unstable and I pushed on it and it tipped over, then I could fall and get hurt. I don't want you to fall and get hurt. So whatever you put your hands on, make sure it's nice and stable. So first, you're going to stack your joints, elbow, shoulder on top of the wrist. And then you're just going to step your feet back. Now naturally, you have an arch in your lower back, but we don't want to exaggerate that arch. If you can see my back arching excessively, that's not what you want. If that was you, you'd want to stop and maybe even try a higher elevation. So get set. I think about slightly tucking hips underneath and just holding. Set a timer, see how long you can go. It might be 10 seconds, it might be 20 seconds, doesn't matter. That's just where you're starting. If you start feeling shaky or you start losing your form, that's when you stop. If you needed to do it against a wall, it's the same idea. You would put your hands on the wall. This way you're going to be kind of an angle here, but you would step back. Still think of tucking your hips underneath, and you could start right here, just like this, holding this for 20 to 30 seconds. If you try that and say that's too easy, that's when we would go back here. If this is too hard and that's too easy, you need to find something in between, maybe a countertop, maybe a countertop. But just set right here. And then we'll hold for a max of 30 seconds. Eyes are looking down in between the thumbs. Don't want you looking like this. Don't want you doing any funky things with your neck either. Great place to practice your belly breathing. But if this is difficult, anything starts shaking, shaking's okay, but bad form is not. Next, we're going to do a high wall sit. Start off with your butt against the wall, and I want to have somewhere around a fist distance between your knees. And then we walk down a little bit. So we're going to start with the high sit. So somewhere in here. Now the lower you go, the more difficult it's going to be. We want it to be a good medium difficulty. We don't want to scare you off, making it too hard, but we also don't want it to be super simple. So a good medium. So lower down however you need to. You can have hands on your thighs in the beginning, but eventually you want to get to where you're comfortable not having them on. if you think about kind of proud chest, reaching back like this is where we want you to be, somewhere in that 10 to 30 seconds. This is a great place to practice that sniffing in. Exaggerate the exhale. Start your timer. Whenever you need to, go ahead and stop. Max of 30 seconds. See where you can go. And then when you're done, make sure you don't fall, right? You can use the wall if you need. Walk yourself back up. Next, you're going to do a modified side plank. So what we want to do is line up your shoulder above your elbow. Want to have a straight line here. If we took a picture of you from above, we could draw a line from your ear to your shoulder, to your hip, to your knee. So we don't want you jackknifed. We want you to nice straight line. Legs are bent behind. From this position, you want to make sure your shoulder is not hunched over. Keep your shoulder pointing to the ceiling. And then you want to just create as much space as you can between your floor and this lower hip. And then in this position, we just want to hold for that maximum of 30 seconds. If anything hurts, you can stop and try again. One thing is that if your elbow gets out too far, sometimes it doesn't feel good on the shoulder. Also, if your elbow's in too close, sometimes it doesn't feel good on your shoulder. Making sure, good posture. We're going to switch sides. Elbows underneath the shoulder. A straight line from that top view. And then just create as much space as you can between the hip and the floor. Hand can be like this or like this. Doesn't really matter. Now in the beginning, you might notice that you're just barely able to lift your hip off the floor to where maybe someone could maybe slide their hand underneath. And as you get stronger, you'll be able to lift it higher and higher. Don't force it. Do whatever your body's ready for. If you only get 5-10 seconds here, that's fine. Just do the best you can. Okay, and lastly here, we're going to get you in this 4-point kneeling stance here. And we want to make sure your distance from the wall, you just want to be close enough to the wall, like this. Now I want you to make sure that your lower back is not arched. As you can see, I'm kind of exaggerating my arch here. I want you to think about almost like a little bit of a crunch to try to flatten out your back. Just putting that leg against the wall just barely. So you're looking down at your fingers. You're not doing this for right now because I don't want your lower back to be exaggerated. So look down at your fingers and just try to straighten out this leg. And we're just holding this with a max of 30 seconds. Now, if your arms start getting tired, your lower back starts feeling wonky, your leg gets tired, any of those things, then that's your time for today. And then you switch. Excellent. So that is your introduction to some isometrics. That'll be your day 2 and your day 5. Day 2, just go through it. Try to get comfortable with it. It's new, so you might need to practice a couple moves a couple times to get the good feeling of it. When you come back for day 5, if you have time, try to go through and do 2 rounds. Always make sure, like with that elevated plank, anything you're putting your hands on, make sure it's a steady surface. Safety is most important. Only work within your pain-free range of motion. Enjoy exploring new movements. Hey there. Now we're going to go over your day 3 and day 6. Going to be your stretching. Should feel very familiar. The only thing we're going to do different this week is we're going to start with some belly breathing, 30 belly breaths, laying down, and then we're going to take out the neck stretch. Now, if the neck stretch felt good to you, if you're someone who uses a device a lot and you feel like you do this with your posture a lot, then that might be a great thing for you to add in, so you can make that decision. For some people, it's kind of an awkward position to get to. They might not feel great about it, so we're gonna cut it out this week, but if you choose to, you can add that back in yourself. So let's start with that floor belly breathing. Put this foot up on the wall, and then you can press here. Try to add your belly breathing. Sniff in the nose. Fill the belly, and then exaggerate the exhale. Of course, if you do this and your lower back comes off the wall, or it just doesn't feel right, or the floor is enough, just go back to the floor. You don't have to use the wall. Okay, so back to the hip flexor here, and just slightly drive forward, not excessively, right? Just set. We can practice here too. Looking over your knee, see your toes. So we're set here. So here, tense here, slightly lean forward. Excellent. All right, for our doorway stretch, we're doing it the same. Nothing has changed here. Perfect. So that's day 3 and 6. My challenge for you this week is to pick one of those stretches that feels the best to you and practice it a second time, sometime throughout the day. Maybe it is that lying hip stretch. Maybe it's the hip flexor stretch. Maybe it is the doorway chest stretch. Whichever one, pick one that feels the best to you and practice it a second time. Week 3 is a wrap. Great job. We'll get week 4 started tomorrow. Please help out the channel. Give us a like, a comment, or share this video. That will help other people find this video series, and that'll help us grow the channel. See you tomorrow. Week 4 is coming.